First of all, the water transportation is not just happening anyhow. Of course, it has a way too, just like the train has its track and the bus has its own roads, and then on the way for the waterway transport, of course, navigation is the key, and that is how these boats move from one point to the other. In Lagos, we don't have many issues relating to navigability, but along the rivers, Niger, Benue, tributaries, and several others, including coastal areas too, navigation is a very tedious thing, because in many cases these routes are not being marked and are not being buoyed to show you where to go and where not to go, and are not regularly dredged or maintained to a very good draft that can accommodate the kind of boats that use them, because rivers are always constantly being silted. You don't have them on a minimum or rather on a standard depth all the time. The depth keeps on changing. So because of this, you find out that most of the accidents that happen around Niger and some parts of Taraba and all that is all related to navigation. In Niger particularly, boats can hit storms that were resulting from trees that were felled long ago, and when the water level goes up, it covers them up, and while they are moving on the water, they go and hit such. And also there are occasions whereby unknown areas that are relatively shallow could turn out to be deep, and areas that are deep could turn out to be shallow as a result of siltation of the water. So if there are no adequate surveillance and detection of such changes of the water levels, and also the flow of the current of this water relative to the type of boats that are using such routes, you find out that there will be a conflict of depth versus the weight of the boat that is moving. And where there is overloading, in many cases it results to accidents, because these boats operate naturally according to the principles of flotation, and you cannot overload a boat and still expect it to move on a shallow water safely. So, but the essence of ensuring safety in this way is that there must be some level of surveillance. At every route, there should be an authority that is concerned to actually survey these routes, ensure that they are good for navigation at least once in a day, and then report back and advise all boat operators and users of their service as to how fair this water is, how good is the route, if there are impediments along the way, what are they, how to bypass them or how to remove them. This is very necessary. The waterways is not like the sea. The ocean is deep enough, vast enough, and has no minor encumbrances to navigation. But on the waterways or along the coastal areas, definitely a review of the condition of the routes, the channels, and the waterways through which these boats pass must always be updated, and that information can be used by the operators to know where to pass, where not to pass, when even to sail and when not to sail, because there are conditions that will actually require no sail at all. So these are some of the things that has to be considered over a time in order to ensure that the navigable routes are safe enough.
Quite